course, the wildest moment in basketball history has to be the Malice at the Palace when players jumped into the stands and started throwing hands with fans, leading to multiple arrests. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, how did this start? Well, it started because Ron Artest, a player from the Indiana Pacers, had a problem. He be tripping sometimes. In Ron's words, he said, back then, yeah, I was young. I was hearing like 3 or 4 voices in my head. Ron Artest's teammate, Steven Jackson, is shooting free throws. He know Ron be tripping. Another teammate of theirs whispers to Ron, it's time for you to get your get back. Steven says, what'd you just say? Let's go back a little bit. You see, Ron Artest and Steven Jackson played for the Indiana Pacers. They were playing the Pistons that night, another really, really good team. This guy, named Ben Wallace, another famous player, he loved to throw hands too. In fact, Ben Wallace pushed Ron around in some old games in the past. Are you following so far? Ben Wallace used to push Ron around in some games. The game they're playing tonight, Ron Artest's teammate says, get Ben Wallace back. Steven Jackson says, do you know who you're talking to? Ron Artest goes, I think I'm gonna do it. Steven goes, no. So to stop Ron Artest from doing anything wild, Steven Jackson, his teammate, runs to Ben Wallace to guard him, to basically play one-on-one with him so Ron Artest can't get involved. Ron Artest comes in anyway and slams Ben Wallace. Everybody goes, ooh. Ben Wallace goes, ooh, what? Shoves Ron Artest really hard. Okay, no big deal at this point. You know, they got in a little scuffle, all good. Ron Artest goes over to lay down on the scores table to calm down because he be wildin'. Okay, now look closely. This is Ron Artest laying down. And this is a cup of drink that gets thrown at him from the stands. Ron Artest says bet, flies into the stands. The guy who threw it right here said, ooh, that boy big. So he looks to the side. Ron runs past him to this guy. This guy said, ah! Now, Ron ran to this guy because this guy was cheering. I'll tell you why he was cheering later. But Ron grabs him and says, was it you? The guy said, no. Ron starts going buck wild. Now, Steven Jackson, Ron's teammate from earlier, rushes over to the stands to grab Ron Artest. He said, Ron, you tripping. He rushes over to grab him. Another fan throws a drink in Ron Artest's face. So Steven Jackson, not in this picture, instead of grabbing Ron, puts the paws on the dude that threw the drink. So Ron Artest and Steven Jackson going buck wild. It's like an anime scene. It's like 2v50. Now at this point, police are rushing in. They eventually get Ron Artest down from the stands. Everything good. Ron Artest actually calm. And then some fans start walking into the floor. This fan, to be specific, I bet you already know what happened to him. He walks over, him and his boy, he says, what? Oh, them folk bigger in person. How tall are you, Ron? Like 6'8"? Like you literally see bro in the video smile turn straight into a frown. His boy that was with him in the way back going, you got this, bro? Ron actually says no words. Yee! His boy right in his team. The dude's friend goes, damn, that's tough. Yee! Dude's friend gets cleaned out too by Ron's teammate. Now they grab Ron again and they're able to calm him down. He says, I'm straight. They just keep coming at me. A police officer literally runs through everyone, grabs mace, and attempts to spray Ron. Reggie Miller, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, looks at the officer and says, no. The officer says, yes, I'm finna spray. Reggie says, look at the stadium. He's calm. Go out there and do your job. The officer says, all right. Now, they rush Ron out, they rush the Pacers out, and they're getting drinks, popcorn, chairs thrown at them. But Steven Jackson says the wildest part of this whole experience to him is they go into the locker room. They all sitting down. Ron Artest looks at Steven Jackson and says, you think we're gonna get in trouble? Steven says that's when he knew something was not right with Ron. He said, yeah, Ron, we gonna get in trouble. Ron said, for real? They said, Ron. He said, huh? They said, you suspended for the whole season and you fined $3 million. Ron said, damn. Damn. Steven Jackson suspended for 30 games, fined like $1 million. A bunch of players, like most of the players, were suspended and fined. The police actually then rush into the locker room to arrest Ron Artest, but the Indiana Pacers rush him to the bus and say, no, y'all wildin'. The police said, we wildin'? The Pacers said, yes. The police said, okay, say that, chill. We gonna look at the tapes. The police look back at the tapes. Yup, they see the drink being thrown. Oh no, how are they gonna find out who did it? They just have a face. The prosecutor of that county looks at the tape and says, hey, yo, that's my neighbor. He goes next door, he says, Josh. That's his actual name, Josh. Josh says, huh? He says, Josh. Josh says, am I going to jail? Prosecutor said, come on. Josh, 30 days in jail, a bunch of community service, banned for life. The fan who got slept, as well as his friend, banned for life. Ron Artest chills out, changes his name to Metta World Peace, and in fact, he calls the dude who threw the drink. They both apologize to each other. The dude who threw the drink said, yeah, he had, problems and that he was working to change. And then he tells Ron, hey, by the way, you know that first dude he says, why he was cheering, remember I told you he was cheering earlier, was because he bet me $50 if I can throw a drink at you. I did it, so he said, woo! And then that's when you saw him, and that's when you gave him the two-piece combo. After their conversation and their apologies, the two actually became friends and have been friends for like 20 years.